But first up tonight, look, voluntary assisted dying, or euthanasia as it's better known, is a deeply personal subject. Personally, I support euthanasia. Dying with dignity is important, and being able to make that choice is emblematic of a modern progressive society. But here in Queensland, the issue has been well and truly politicised on the eve of the state election. Why would a risk-averse Premier like Annastacia Palaszczuk bring voluntary assisted dying into the election race just a few weeks out from polling day? And there's one word for that, and it's the seat of Currumbin. Instead of waiting for the Law Reform Commission to bring down its report into euthanasia in March next year, a re-elected Palaszczuk government will fast-track laws to the February sitting of Parliament. Now, Ms Palaszczuk said she would personally support voluntary assisted dying, as would I, insisting it would be a conscience vote. Yet here's what she told Parliament on May 21. There are a number of operational issues to work through before we can implement any kind of voluntary assisted dying scheme in Queensland at this time. I have therefore asked the Attorney-General to refer the preparation of voluntary assisted dying legislation for Queensland to the Queensland Law Reform Commission, with draft legislation by March 1 next year for the government's final consideration. Pretty clear cut, isn't it? What happened between then and now? What happens to the Law Reform Commission report? Now, this is a move that has angered the Catholic and Anglican churches. They're very upset about this. They say it's a political decision. Well, okay, here's the politics. Listen up. Former Liberal Cabinet Minister Jan Stuckey's husband Richard is a doctor, and he's running as an independent in his wife's former seat of Currumbin, which of course is held by the LNP. Now, Dr Stuckey has said he will preference the Labor Party before the LNP, even though his wife was a former LNP Cabinet Minister, because it has a clear and concise policy around voluntary assisted dying, of which he supports. Now, that policy position was made crystal clear by the Premier at the Labor launch. Now, Jan Stuckey left politics in controversial circumstances. She accused her LNP colleagues of bullying her, and she's been highly critical of her LNP successor, Laura Gerber, who won a by-election earlier this year, albeit narrowly. Now, there's a belief within Labor circles that the candidate down there, Kayleigh Campradt, can upset Ms Gerber off the back of Dr Stuckey's preferences. Off the back, this is the key bit, of Dr Stuckey's preferences, because a lot of people recognise the name Stuckey. Will vote for Stuckey. But not everybody in the Labor Party is happy with Ms Palaszczuk's backflip on her commitment to the churches that she wouldn't bring forward the legislation until the Law Reform Commission had brought down its report. Now, there's a bloke in the New South Wales Upper House. He's a Labor MP, and his name is Greg Donnelly. And he's been in Parliament for 15 years. And he posted online on Friday that Ms Palaszczuk's decision to bring voluntary assisted dying into the election campaign was, in his words, utterly reprehensible. And this is what he said. Deliberations over proposed laws to legalise assisted suicide and euthanasia for legislators are as serious as it gets. Using such issues to try to secure some base political advantage should be beyond the pale, even for the most hard-headed of politicians. Now, this fella said, Mr Donnelly, that in Victoria, where these laws have been introduced, the public were told about 12 people a year, one a month, would seek to end their lives through assisted dying. The figures that have been reported, he says, is about 2 a week. That's 8 a month. And by the way, if you're wondering about my beliefs, as I said, I strongly favour voluntary assisted dying. When there's nothing more to give, leaving this world with dignity and grace is a good thing. What I don't like, and here's the nub, is political parties breaking promises on proper process in a naked attempt to win favour at the ballot box. It's cynical and it's wrong.